Hello, everybody, and welcome to the top 5 new comics for April 9th and 10th of 2024. I'm, as always, Chris, and we got a really cool slate of books this week, so let's jump right into it, starting with Ultimate X-Men #2. This is written and drawn by Peach Momoko. I was hesitant on the first issue. I believe it was still in my top 5 that week because I had so much hype for this Ultimate Universe, was just enjoying everything coming out with it. And this was the last of the first 3. And I just hoped that hype would continue on with this book, even though I have never been a huge Peach Momoko fan, just in past works I've read. But that first issue was really quite special, to be honest. It's different from the rest of the Ultimate Universe. It's its own unique thing. But she really found something in that issue that just struck a chord with me. And everything that went on, even bringing some very obscure characters that I, not being the biggest X-Men fan, had to go and really look up and see what they're all about. I liked how they introduced a lot of the Japanese culture in it and actually explained it, as opposed to one of my gripes with manga sometimes is, and I respect it while at the same time kind of wish they did more with it, is that a lot of manga will just treat something as if you should know this. Like, this is normal. And I understand why they do it. So don't come at me in the comments, please. But it can be frustrating as someone who's not as into that culture, trying to navigate my way through because I'm not quite sure about certain things in it. And this book did it wonderfully, where they would introduce something and then they would spend a portion of the page at the bottom with a quick explanation just to get you through the story, and then added a page at the end that really went more in depth of what these things mean and what they are in that culture. They did a wonderful job with this book, with the first issue at least, and I'm really excited for the second one. Like, it's actually quite amazing to me how much I enjoyed it and how much I'm looking forward to the series moving forward. I really think the Ultimate Universe this time around, much like the first time around, has found a special sauce to do something cool and different, and I'm really, really enjoying it. After that, we've got Action Comics 1064. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Rafa Sandoval. A couple things with this. I really liked the last couple of issues with Jason Aaron doing Bizarro. And just Action Comics as a whole over the past couple of years has been a lot of fun. I think for me personally, there's been a renaissance of Superman comics because I'm back to enjoying Superman comics again. And Joshua Williamson is really the architect of that with his Superman run for the past 2 years. And now he's got his chance at Action Comics, which, to be fair to everybody, this is going to be a crossover story with his Superman run. So it's really just him doing a bigger story arc through the 2 books. Plus, I think there's an ancillary book along with it. So a little bit of a sync in terms of, if you're only getting one of them, now you might have to get an extra book every month and possibly this like ancillary book if you're really enjoying it. But for me, A, I'm buying both already, so it doesn't affect my pull list at all. But B, I enjoy when they do these the right way. And this feels like the right way to me. Joshua Williamson's writing the whole thing. It's his big story arc with Brainiac, which we'll get into later. And they didn't overdo it. It's not 4 or 5 books, it's 2. And they're both already Superman books. So the idea being that if you're reading Superman, there's a good chance you're reading Action Comics. So I like the way they're handling this one. With that said, it's a Brainiac story. So I really enjoy Brainiac as a villain. He's been used quite a bit through like video games, and I know the new Suicide Squad game has him in it, although I've not played it. But like Injustice used him. There's been a few cartoon movies. We haven't really seen like him break into the mainstream too much. He gets used quite a bit in the comics, I will admit. But I always like when he shows up because he doesn't feel overused, and he's a cool, interesting character. So I just everything here I'm really enjoying, and think it's going to be a lot of fun with Joshua Williamson doing more and all this. And I did read, as just an aside, that there are some ancillary books tying into this event as well, like Green Lantern and a few others. But from what I was reading, just as kind of an asterisk to what I said earlier, when I was reading, it really is like the story is Superman action, some ancillary book, Superman action. So that's really what I meant by that. After that, I've got The Batman, First Night #2. This is written by Dan Jurgens with art by Mike Perkins. Talked a little bit about the first issue when it came out. I was really excited for this. I love the setting. I love the detective story. I love young Batman just getting in there and figuring things out. These are all things that I really enjoyed. And then it all came together for a really good first issue. There was a couple moments here and there in it that felt off, but as a whole, I thought the book was really, really good. And I like the story they're telling because not only is it a crime book, but there's like supernatural elements added in there. And the action sequences, the moment to moment, the dialogue in the first issue, so good. And like I said earlier, the setting for the book being during the Great Depression, it adds this element where Bruce is this rich guy, has everything while people are starving and trying to get by. And there's just so many good plot lines to go with this book. So I really, really love that first issue, and I cannot wait for the second one. After that, I have Deadweights #1. This is written by Tyrone Finch with art by Sebastian Piriz. I've really enjoyed Ahoy Comics since they entered the scene. Like, what I find funny with Ahoy is they kind of entered the scene once Fortune Comic News started to get its legs under it and really start to become what it is today. And we built a relationship with them early on because they had this really cool book that we were both really into called Wrong Earth. And then from there, it built. They made good, correct decisions when they needed to. And I just have loved every decision they made along the way, even if not every book is for me. I just think they're doing things the correct way. And this book in particular hits my top 5 because I love the concept for this book. There's always that thing with like the supervillain lackeys and who they are, what they do, and when things go wrong for them, there's always this interest in my head of like their lives outside of the supervillainy. And in this book, we're getting that. And it's a buddy comedy about 2 henchmen who just like keep fucking up and have to find a new way to get by. So you got me on the premise. I think the art looks really cool in the book. I'm just down. And to support a comic company like Ahoy, one of the smaller ones, is always a plus that I like. So I'm really excited for this. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. After that, got Silicon Bandits, #1. This is written by Jason Starr with art by Dalibor Talajic. So I think by the time this comes out, my review for Silicon Bandits will be out. So you can see my full response to how I feel about this book. And spoiler, I fucking love this book. When Magma Comics entered the scene and we were introduced to them through a press release, I was very, very interested because they had two really cool books right off the bat with two creative teams that were no slouches. Like all the creators that are walking through Magma Comics right now may not be as big as the hive mind, but they all have histories in comics and have made really good books. So they are pros that are doing stuff in the industry. And I really want to get into the, like, figure out the birth of Magma Comics, but that's a story for another time. Obviously, the Hive Mind book was number one on my list. Anything they do is going to be number one. But this book got introduced, and I was like, this sounds really cool. It involves a near future, androids, gets into AI stuff. It's a heist story. Hits all those right notes. And then when you read it, it is so well crafted by everyone that has a part of this book. The writing is so phenomenal. I love how they get into these, they give you info dumps of what the world is and how things are and what we're doing, but it doesn't feel like they're just lecturing to you like the world is this and there's this zone and there's that. It's done in this sequence that's done so well that just, I know I'm going on about an info dump, but I really want to hit home like how well done it is, because it's becoming more and more rare in comics and in most media for people to eloquently bring me into their new world. And Silicon Bandits does it so well. And then from there, like every sequence, the world that's built and the writing, the dialogue, awesome. The art, phenomenal. Once again, the world building through the art is done so well. And a part of that goes to the artist, a part of that goes to the colorist as well. This book from top to bottom is one of my favorite single issues I've read all year, hands down. And I believe that says a lot because it's been a really good year in comics. I'm really excited for this book to move forward. I really want to see more people give this a shot, because I'll tell you this, Magma Comics has come out the barrel with a blast. They have two great books, this being a top 5 of the year so far as a single issue. And I really think everybody should have this book on their list, or at least if you see it at the comic shop, buy it, check it out. It's a really good book. And if you like cyberpunk, you like neo-future stuff, there's a little bit of post-apocalyptic stuff in there. Being that it's so far in the future, there are some like radioactive wastelands in there. Even though we don't see one, we hear about it. And it's a heist book at the end of the day. So the setting's cool, story's cool, dialogue's cool, the art's cool, everything in this book's cool. Go check it out. It's if I did not get a review copy for it, that's hard to say, because this is I would say it's my number one book of the week. It would be on top of my, I was going to say it would be on top of my stack this week, but that's not true. But now that I've read it, I don't see another book beating it this week. It's that good. So everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to support me in my endeavors, the best ways to do it, all for free, chriscomicscorner.substack.com. That's where I post all my reviews, my retro reread series, my crowdfunding spotlight series. All that's there for free for you to check out. And then if you want to support the YouTube channel, these videos, like, subscribe, share, comment down below. And let me know in the comments down below what books you're looking forward to, what one I missed on my list, all those kinds of stuff. And if you're watching this after the fact, let me know what you thought of the books I picked this week. Did they live up to how I felt about them before they came out, or did they kind of shit the bed? What, or somewhere in between. Let me know. And as always, I appreciate you watching. I'll see y'all here next week.